My family thinks I'm a failure because I chose a life they don't understand. I remember the exact moment I knew my life was going to go in a completely different direction than what my family wanted. It was during my final year of university. Everyone around me was gearing up for job placements, the kind where you wear stiff suits, polish your CV to death, and sit in front of recruiters pretending to care about package offers you know will suck the life out of you for the next 10 years. Me? I was staring at a half-finished script on my laptop at 3 a.m. in a dark dorm room, trying to breathe through a panic attack because I couldn't imagine sitting in an office 9 to 5 doing Excel stuff for the rest of my life. I didn't know what I wanted then, but I sure as hell knew what I didn't. That was the start of a very long, very lonely road. I come from a lower middle-class family. The kind where people don't talk about dreams, they talk about duties. My dad worked 3 jobs when I was in school. My mom rationed groceries so we'd never go to bed hungry. My older sister gave up college so I could go. I was the investment, the bright one, the one everyone said would change the family's future. So when I told them I wasn't sitting for placements, that I wanted to try writing full-time, I expected some pushback. What I didn't expect was silence. And then, my father said, without looking up from his tea, "So all those years, all our sacrifices, you're throwing them away for some pipe dream?" It hit me harder than if he had yelled. My mom cried. My sister just left the room. And suddenly, I wasn't the golden child anymore. I was the selfish one. I moved out 2 months after graduation. Rented a dingy 1 BHK with stained walls, a broken fan, and the world's loudest ceiling lizard. I had a cheap table, a second-hand laptop, and exactly 2,100 Indian rupees in my account. I took any writing gig I could find, content mills, product descriptions, ghostwriting resumes for people who would go on to make 10 times what I did. Some months, I made enough to eat 3 meals. Some months, I didn't. I taught English part-time to school kids just to afford Wi-Fi. My friends from college were buying bikes and iPhones while I was choosing between paying electricity or buying medicine when I caught a cold. I lied to my parents a lot back then. Told them I was doing fine. That I'd get my big break soon. I don't know if I was trying to protect them or protect my pride. Every writer has a graveyard of drafts that no one will ever read. Mine could fill a small library. Blogs no one clicked. Scripts that got ghosted. Pitch emails that never even got opened. I must have rewritten my first serious script 15 times before I even showed it to someone, and when I did, the feedback was, "It's good, but we're not looking for anything like this right now." I heard that a lot, but somehow, I kept going. Maybe out of ego. Maybe because I'd burned every bridge to the safe life. Maybe because I couldn't bear the thought of going back home and hearing my father say, "I told you so." I kept telling myself, 1 more year. Just give it 1 more. That 1 more year turned into 3, my break didn't come in some fairy tale way. No big studio discovery. No viral post, it came when I submitted a sample script for a web series pitch I saw in a WhatsApp group, and the person actually replied. Said, "Let's talk." I thought it was a scam. It wasn't. 6 months later, my name rolled in the end credits of a real series. A small role. Barely paid. But it was mine. And for the first time in years, I felt like maybe I wasn't stupid for trying. I sent the link to my family, my sister watched it and said, "Proud of you." My mom said, "You looked thin, are you eating properly?" My dad didn't say anything for 2 days. Then finally texted. "Is this permanent work or just a one-time thing?" That text crushed me in a way no rejection letter ever could. You don't realize how conditional some friendships are until you stop fitting their version of success. A lot of my old college friends stopped calling. Or worse, only called to compare. "Oh bro, you're still doing that writing thing? Must be nice not having a boss." Meanwhile, I just spent the night editing a 32-page client brief that paid late. Oh man, you're so lucky. No commute, no traffic. Lucky? I was in therapy for burnout and hadn't left the house in 5 days. It wasn't envy. It was disconnect. They were living in a world of weekend brunches and EMI plans. I was living invoice to invoice, battling self-doubt, and pretending I wasn't terrified of failure every damn day. Eventually, we just stopped talking. People love underdog stories, but only when they end in shiny trophies. They don't want to hear that even after you make it, you still doubt yourself. That you still compare your journey to people younger, faster, richer. That sometimes, even success feels like failure because you're too tired to celebrate. They don't talk about the loneliness of carving your own path. About not knowing when to stop or if you ever can stop. Because what if the next gig never comes? They don't show you the nights you stare at your screen wondering if this whole thing was a mistake, if maybe, just maybe, your parents were right all along, but you keep going. Because it's not just about proving them wrong anymore, it's about proving to yourself that you were never crazy to believe your life could be more than a paycheck and a pension plan. It's funny, the people who used to call you reckless or delusional suddenly change their tone the moment they see a hint of validation from the outside world. When my second script got picked up, this time for a larger project, one that actually paid enough to clear a few debts and fix the leaking bathroom ceiling, my phone started buzzing again. Old classmates reached out with, "Hey man, saw your name in the credits, you're killing it." Some even asked if I could hook them up with freelance leads for their cousin who also wants to get into creative stuff now. And just like that, the thing that once made me the failure suddenly made me the inspiring one. Except it didn't feel like that. I still woke up anxious. Still questioned every scene I wrote. Still stared at emails from producers like they were written in another language. Still had moments where I wanted to throw my laptop across the room because I couldn't get a character's dialogue right, but I smiled. I nodded. I played the part, because apparently, when you choose a non-traditional path, you don't just work twice as hard, you also have to convince everyone, all the time, that you're okay. My relationship with my parents didn't magically repair itself overnight. They didn't throw a party. My dad didn't suddenly quote my lines with pride. My mom still asked me if I'd considered applying for a government job, just in case. But something shifted after a particular day, a random Tuesday afternoon. Actually, I had just wrapped a voice call with a client when I got a text from my sister. "Dad sent a screenshot of your latest script to the family WhatsApp group. Said, my son wrote this." I stared at it for a good 2 minutes. It wasn't an apology. It wasn't even a direct message to me. But in our family, that was the emotional equivalent of a standing ovation, and in that moment, it meant everything. Here's the thing no one tells you when you chase a dream that doesn't come with a fixed paycheck or office ID badge: you spend an unbelievable amount of time pretending you're not scared. Scared that you've bet everything on a gamble no one else believed in. Scared that you've wasted your prime years. Scared that one quiet month could undo everything. And then there's the guilt. Oh man, the guilt is real. When you visit your family and they're still budgeting down to the last rupee, while you're praying this project goes through so you can finally afford a decent mattress. When your cousin finishes her MBA and your aunt asks you at dinner, "So, what exactly is it that you do?" When your friends post pictures from trips to Bali or Europe and you're still rationing your freelance payments to last till the next invoice clears, you start to feel like a fraud. Like you're almost doing something meaningful, but not quite. Like success is always 2 steps ahead of where you're standing, and yet, you keep showing up, not because you're fearless, but because you've learned how to move with the fear, how to stop waiting for it to disappear and instead, let it sit beside you while you write the next damn draft. About a year ago, I got an email that genuinely made me freeze. A mid-sized production house wanted to develop one of my short film ideas into a limited series. It wasn't a life-changing offer, not financially, but they were serious. They wanted to collaborate, not just tweak it beyond recognition. They saw something in my work, and for the first time, I saw it too. I told my parents at dinner. They didn't really understand what development deal meant, but my dad nodded slowly, then said, "So, people really pay for these stories, huh?" There was no sarcasm. Just quiet curiosity. I didn't say anything at first. Then I said something I'd never dared to say before: "They always did." It just took me a while to believe it myself. He didn't respond immediately, but later that night, he came into my room, something he hadn't done since I was in school, and said, "I still don't understand everything you do. But I see you working. And I see you're not giving up. That matters more than you think." It wasn't a dramatic movie moment, but it was real. And sometimes, real is better. Success doesn't always look how you imagined. Sometimes it's not a viral video or award or paycheck. Sometimes it's sleeping a little better. Smiling a little more. Not flinching when someone asks, "What do you do for a living?" Validation might come late or never, but that can't be the reason you keep going. If you need applause to work, this road will break you. Family love isn't always unconditional, but it can evolve. What starts as judgment can grow into respect, even if it's clumsy and late. People need time. Let them catch up. Your dream will cost you things: comfort, stability, sometimes relationships. But the only thing worse than chasing it is wondering what would have happened if you didn't. People ask me that sometimes, in interviews, on panels, in DMs. Was it worth the years of instability, the fights with your family, the financial mess, the loneliness? And you know what? I still don't have a perfect answer. All I know is this: I've woken up at 2 a.m. with an idea that made me jump out of bed and write till sunrise, not for a grade, not for a boss, not for a deadline, but for the sheer joy of it. I've seen my words spoken by actors, felt the goosebumps when an audience laughed or cried at something I created from nothing. I've survived months of silence, anxiety, and hunger and come out stronger, sharper, more me, so yeah. It was worth it, because this life, hard, unpredictable, messy as it is, finally feels like mine, and for the first time in years, I'm not chasing someone else's definition of success, I'm writing my own.